Hi everyone, welcome to today's video where we're diving into the world of SQL, Structured Query Language. If you've ever wondered how data is managed in databases, this is the language that makes it all happen. SQL is a universal language for working with relational databases, and it's used everywhere, from small apps to huge systems like social media platforms. In this video, we'll cover the basics of SQL, including how to retrieve data, filter it, and even combine data from multiple tables. Don't worry if you've never seen SQL before. We'll break it down step by step, and by the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of how it works. Let's get started. First, let's talk about what SQL actually is. SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and is pronounced either as SQL or SQL. It's a language designed to manage and manipulate data stored in relational databases. Think of a database as a giant Excel spreadsheet, but much more powerful. SQL allows us to organize, retrieve, and manipulate this data. For example, you can use SQL to create tables, filter records, and even establish relationships between different tables. The best part, SQL is declarative, which means you tell the database what you want to do, and it figures out how to do it. You don't need to worry about the technical steps. Just focus on the result you want. Now let's look at the basic structure of an SQL query. The most common SQL command is the select statement, which is used to retrieve data from a database. On the screen, you can see other basic structures of an SQL query, or what must be included when querying a database. But let's break this down. So select, this tells the database which columns you want to retrieve. For example, if you want to get the names and prices of products, you'd list those columns here. From, this specifies the table where the data is stored. Think of it as telling the database, hey, go look in this table. The where, this is where you add conditions to filter the data. For example, you might only want products that cost less than £10. The order by, this lets you sort the results. By default, it sorts in ascending order, but you can change it to descending if you want. Let's look at an example to make this clearer. Imagine we have a table called Table Product that stores information about different products. The table has columns like Product ID, Product Name, Subject, Level, and Price. On the screen, you can see what this table might look like. Now, let's say we want to retrieve all products that are for Level 4. We'd write a query like this, as you can see on your screen. Under the select, we'd type in Product ID, Product Name, Subject, and Price. When we say where the data is stored, we would say it's from Table Product. The where, the level would equal 4. And we'd like to order by product name. This query does three things. It selects the columns Product ID, Product Name, Subject, and Price. It filters the results to only include products where the level is 4. It sorts the results alphabetically by the product name. The output would look like the table that you can see on your screen. See how easy it is? You're telling the database exactly what you want, and it goes ahead and does the rest. Now let's talk about sorting. By default, SQL sorts results in ascending order. But you can change this to descending order by adding the keyword DESC. You can also sort by multiple columns. For example, let's say we want to sort the level 4 products by price, from highest to lowest, and then by product name, alphabetically. Consider pausing the video to have a look at the example that you can see on your screen to see how we can actually do this. This query will first sort the products by price in descending order, so the most expensive products come first. If two products have the same price, it will then sort them alphabetically by name. Wildcards are the like operator. Sometimes you might not know the exact value you're looking for. That's where wildcards and the like operator come in handy. A wildcard is a symbol that stands in for other characters. The most common wildcard is the asterisk, which means any number of characters. For example, let's say we want to find all products where the subject starts with comp. We can use the like operator with a wildcard like what you can see on your screen. This query will return all products where the subject starts with comp, such as computer science or computing. The asterisk tells SQL to match any characters that come after comp. The where clause is where you add conditions to filter your data. You can use different operators to create these conditions. For example, comparison operators, logical operators, range, and list operators. Let's look at a couple of examples. Let's say we want to find all products priced between £5 and £10. We'd write what we can see on the screen. Select with the asterisk from table product. The where price would be between 5 and 10. This query will return all products where the price is between 5 and 10. Now let's say we want to find all level 4 products in computational subjects. We'd write what we can see on example 2. The select with the asterisk from table product, where with subject like comp and level equals 4. This query combines two conditions. The subject must start with comp and the level must be 4. Here's a tiny but important detail. The semicolon. In some SQL systems, it's used to mark the end of a statement. Think of it like a pause at the end of a sentence. If you have a look at the example on your screen, we can see how we can apply the semicolon. The semicolon tells the database, this query is complete. Run it now. Avoid adding semicolons mid-query, as that can cause errors. Not all systems require this, but it's good practice to include it. Now let's move on to something a bit more advanced. Multi-table queries. In real-world databases, data is often spread across multiple tables. For example, you might have one table for customers, another for products, and a third that links customers to the products they've subscribed to. To combine data from multiple tables, we use foreign keys. A foreign key is a column in one table that links to the primary key in another table. For example, let's say we have 3 tables: table customer, table subscription, and table product. The table customer stores customer information like customer ID, surname, and email. Table subscription links customers to products using customer ID and product ID. Table product stores product details like product ID, product name, and subject. To retrieve a list of customers and the products they've subscribed to, we'd write a query like the one that you can see on your screen under the example. Select table customer ID, surname, table product ID, and product name. The from would be from table customer, table subscription, table product. Where would be table subscription and customer ID. And table subscription product ID would be table product ID. This query joins the three tables using their shared columns, customer ID and product ID, and retrieves the customer ID, surname, product ID, and product name. You may notice customer ID and product ID in table subscription are in italics. These are foreign keys, columns that link to other tables' primary key, like customer ID in table customer. They ensure data integrity. For example, if a customer is deleted from table customer, their subscription in table subscription can be automatically removed. This prevents orphan data, like a subscription pointing to a non-existent customer. Foreign keys act like glue, keeping your database organized and reliable. When working with multiple tables, column names can overlap. For example, customer ID exists in both table customer and table subscription. To avoid confusion, prefix the table name. This is like specifying John's math grade instead of just math grade if multiple students are in the room. Pause the video and have a look at the example provided. Under the select option, we can select table customer ID, their surname, table product name. Here, table customer ID clarifies which customer ID we're using. For unique column names like surname, which only exist in table customer, the prefix is optional. And as mentioned earlier, this is like specifying John's math grade instead of just math grade if multiple students are in the room. Another way to combine data from multiple tables is by using the join keyword. This is a more explicit way of linking tables, and it makes your queries easier to read, especially when dealing with complex data. For example, let's say we have a table called table player, which stores player information, and a table called table team that stores team information. We can use a join to retrieve all players belonging to a specific team, like the one that you can see on your screen. This query fetches the surnames of players who belong to the Bingham team. The join keyword explicitly connects the two tables using the team ID column. Both join and where can link tables, but they're written differently, as you can see from the example on your screens. Both queries will return the same results. Join is preferred for readability, especially with many tables. It's like saying, I'll meet you at the cafe versus let's meet at the cafe on 5th Street next to the bookstore. Both work, but one is more precise. Let's have a look at the tables that we've been using. The table product. This table stores product details like an inventory list. Table customer. This holds customer information similar to a contacts list. Table subscription. This acts as a bridge linking customers to their subscribed products using IDs. And on this screen, we can see the table relationships between all the tables mentioned earlier. Before we wrap up, let's talk about some common errors you might encounter when writing SQL queries. The first, forgetting to link tables. If you're querying multiple tables, you need to make sure they're linked using foreign keys or joins. Ambiguous column names. If two tables have columns with the same name, you need to specify which table you're referring to by using the table.column syntax. And lastly, missing semicolons. Some SQL systems require a semicolon at the end of each statement. Make sure you don't forget it. Right, let's recap what we've learned today. First, master the core clauses such as select, from, where, order by, and join. The second, to use like and wildcards for flexible text searches. The third, to link tables using foreign keys or join statements. The fourth, always test your queries to make sure they work as expected. So SQL is a powerful tool, and with practice, you'll be able to retrieve and manipulate data like a pro. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials. See you next time. Bye for now.